Now, there's an important public safety message this morning because senior firefighters are urging us not to throw away unwanted electronics this Christmas.
The National Fire Chiefs Council says there's been a big rise in fires and bin lorries and recycling facilities in recent years, largely caused by batteries being incorrectly disposed of and then igniting. Here's our environment correspondent, Jonah Fisher.
It's that time of year when many of us head to the shops or go online, looking for the perfect gift or decoration. But how much thought do you give to where your old electronics end up and the dangers that may lurk inside them? Campaigners are hoping a pink cat will convince us to think twice.
I am Hypnocat, and it is my mission to persuade you and the nation to recycle your electricals.
We're not the fun police. I'm not coming in at Christmas saying stop having fun. But you don't necessarily need to have fun by buying cheap technology that you know is going to break. There are other things that you can do. But if you have bought it and you've had fun with it, don't bin it, because electricals are full of valuable materials.
If you do take your electronics to be recycled, it may well end up at a place like this. This is the recycling plant in Kent. I am surrounded by toasters, microwaves, printers. If you listen closely, you may be able to hear a beeping sound. And that's because inside many of these devices are batteries that are still working. Once inside the facility, the largest batteries are spotted and removed.
These are all power tool ones. We've got laptop ones and everything else behind us.
The batteries are sent away to be processed and the components recycled. What's left is broken down into small pieces and sorted to be used again.
We spun it apart with chains, and that's the end result.
And I suppose if it's a small battery, it might get spotted here.
Yeah, no, it definitely will.
Occasionally, one does get through, as we saw for ourselves.
Everybody okay?
Yeah.
What happened there?
It's plugged in battery.
Batteries can ignite quite innocently, you know, if they become damaged, and they'll have something called thermal runaway, which basically means they get hot. It's a risk we have to manage all the time in our process.
But not everywhere is so well prepared. Firefighters say the number of fires caused by electronics and batteries being put in with the rubbish is soaring. Bin trucks have caught fire. This was a blaze in Walsall in January. This, a recycling plant in Coventry in August.
From the stats that we've got from 2022, these types of fires are up about 71%. And probably the reason they are increasing is the amount of products that are coming into the market with these types of battery in. And if we don't recycle them properly, of course, we're going to have more fires.
So, if you're not keen on your Christmas gadget this year, remember to put it in the recycling, not the bin. Jonah Fisher, BBC News.
Charlie Porter from the charity Material Focus joins us now to talk a little bit more about this in a little bit more detail. So, there are important things we need to remember to do, just as Jonah was telling us. What's the most important thing in terms of disposing of? We're looking at Christmas lights, electronic goods and batteries.
So the important thing is that anything with a plug, battery or cable can be recycled, but particularly the things with batteries inside. So we say that anything that lights up, buzzes, moves, shakes without being plugged in, that stuff is powered by a hidden battery. And it's really, really important to never bin that at home, to always recycle it separately from your household rubbish and recycling. But it's really easy to do so, and that's part of what our awareness campaign is about, is telling people about what to do with them. So you can recycle your electricals, and you've got thousands of drop-off points specifically for batteries and electricals. Places like retailers, you can take them to, you've got the sort of battery drop-off points specifically themselves, or your sort of household recycling centre as well.
So don't put them out with the recycling on the street?
No, so the best thing to do is look up what's in your local area as well. So some people might have a curbside, but that's like for a sort of smaller part of the population. But for most people, it is recycling it at a separate and a safe designated spot there. Right. So I think for some items, you can remove the batteries safely, and then you can take them to a retail drop-off point. But if you can't remove the battery safely, the best thing to do is just find a drop-off point on our website and recycle them safely there.
We talk about fast food. We also talk about fast tech, don't we? People are buying huge amounts of electronics at the moment. Do you think they are the increase in the amount of people who are recycling electronic goods is going up to keep pace?
We're definitely seeing more and more people recycling, so that is the good news. And I think it's also just it's part of, you know, raising awareness and having that conversation. So, you know, coming on here and being able to talk about it, I think a lot of people maybe don't realise what they can do with it. And we talk about the drawer of doom, where lots of cables and things. Yeah. I think we've all got one.
You've got a drawer of doom, John?
I've got many drawers of doom.
Lots of drawers of doom, but yeah, sort of the infamous drawer where you got your cables.
You don't know what to do with it.
Exactly. And so, yeah, so I think the more we talk about it, you know, the more we sort of work with people to help people understand where those drop-off points are. But yeah, we've got 30,000 points on our locator. So I think it is actually easier than you think. For a lot of people in more urban areas, it's about, you know, 15-minute walk or drive. So it really is quite simple.
But bearing in mind how much stuff like this we've all got in our homes, do you think councils could be doing more? Should they be collecting it from our homes? Because that would probably mean that more got recycled, wouldn't it?
I think, like as we said, some councils do offer curbside as well, but I think there's thousands of drop-off points out there. So, you know, it's even your local shop and places like that too. So it's just like having all of those drop-off points.
What are the hazards then if we don't do this responsibly? I know we've seen those incredible pictures of fires, but what would you say to people who think, oh, I just can't be bothered, I've no idea where the recycle, I'm just going to chuck this in the bin?
I think, you know, just because it's small, don't sort of forget that it has a huge impact. You know, we saw some of the footage of those fires, and our research showed us that in a year there was 1,200 of those fires, all caused by those batteries. And they're putting real lives at risk, you know, fire services, waste crew. And the thing about these particular fires is that they can burn for hours, sometimes days, just unnecessarily putting people's lives at risk. And it really is completely preventable, really easy to do the right thing. But, you know, something so small like a vape, those earbuds that are rechargeable, we might not think that they're having an impact, but they really are. And I think this Christmas, but all year round, it's really important to keep those people safe.
Yeah, vapes, we had some pictures last week of explosions, effectively, on bin lorries that were collecting disposable vapes, which are supposedly banned, but they're still out there in great numbers, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And we did research previously where we're looking at what they were called disposable vapes as well. And I think sort of that behaviour, which kind of feeds into fast tech generally, like vapes are a really good example of fast tech, those sort of cheaper items that you can buy between £1 and £20. But people potentially, because they are easy to come by, cheaper, people see them as disposable, easy to throw away, but not realising that they've got batteries inside. So, you know, it's not only dangerous for the battery fire side, but it's also, we're losing valuable materials. These lithium-ion batteries, they could be used to repower like electric cars or anything like that.
Charlie, fascinating to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming in and for bringing in those examples of things we need to be aware of. Thank you.
Of course, thank you.